All right, so welcome back. This is TV Africa, and this is Breakfast Live. And this morning, we're going to look at a mantra that says Ghana Beyond Aid. And this year, slave trade will be 400 years. It will be 400 years now since slave trade was abolished. So we're looking at all those things. So Ghana is going to go beyond aid. Now, there was something trending on social media early last year when this young lady went on TEDx, and she was speaking to the fact that Africa is not poor, but then the West make it seem so. We all know the facts that we have mineral resources in Africa, the most of it globally. But how come we are poor? Is it because somebody is doing it, or we haven't had great leaders to take us out of those doldrums? When you take Democratic Republic of Congo, it's got almost all the mineral resources in this world. So if you're using a mobile phone, what is used to manufacture the mobile phone, they have it. They have gold, they have diamond, red diamonds, in fact. They have uranium. They have so many natural resources. So somebody would say, is that the reason why that place has no peace? But if so, aren't there human beings there? Aren't they reasoning? Aren't they thinking? So how is it that certain countries are able to do it? Look at Luxembourg, a very small country. They have all what it takes to become the second richest country in the world in terms of price parity. So that's it. Look at Qatar. Look at the size of Qatar. What do they have? The richest country in the whole wide world. So the point is that, is it leadership or it is the people? This morning, I have Bishop Mensah here with me, and we are taking a critical look at how leadership can meander us out of the aid reliance on the Western world. Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
and good to see you. You are always immaculately dressed.
Oh, thank you. And Happy New Year to you.
Many happy returns, sir. And I wish you same and,
exactly.
and much more.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So we are looking at Ghana Beyond Aid. This is something that was said by the President of the Republic, and it's something that he believes that we can achieve. Him saying it, him believing in it, and we the people, what should be the link such that it can be achieved?
Well, thank you very much, and Happy New Year to our viewers. As a matter of fact, Liu Kuan Yew, you know, the man who moved Singapore from third world to first world, made this statement, and I quote, he said, "Honest and effective government, public order, and personal security, economic and social progress did not come about by natural course of events, but by intentional and creative vision." So naturally, nothing happens by chance. Nothing can be achieved if there is not going to be the role of leadership that will be engineered and fueled by vision. And therefore, the concept of Ghana Beyond Aid, for me, it's a beautiful concept and vision that our president has given to us. But the question someone will ask, Patrice, is that what mental picture do we have when we talk about Ghana Beyond Aid? All right, and I guess we should first of all have a mental picture so that you and I, the person on the ordinary man on the street, the university lecturer, the student, the average worker, can have a mental picture of Ghana Beyond Aid. And Ghana Beyond Aid basically will be looking at countries perhaps like UK, Canada, US, Singapore, Japan. These are countries that are developed. Therefore, what would be some of the things that would suggest a country beyond aid? What I would suggest is, first of all, they must have a high gross national income per capita. That is very important. There must be access to modern health care. If you want to, if we say Ghana Beyond, it means access to modern healthcare, quality education. And that means that the average minimum educational standard should be what we now have as the SHS, not JHS. All right? The third should be industrialization, which is the fourth one, industrialization, where we'll have manufacturing sector moving from import-driven economy to export-driven economy. Service is very important. Knowledge economy, that the average person, everything is driven by knowledge. Then infrastructure abilities, capabilities. That is, we have road, good road, bridges and what have you. All our infrastructure developments are on top. How stable is our economy? and our political, terrain. These are keys. Quality of life. And quality of life, Patrice, we are talking of the low incidence of poverty, the narrow gap between inequality, that is income inequalities,
yes,
the low growth rate of population. Now we just read, when you were just on there, that our population rate is now about 30 million.
30.2, yeah.
That is worrying. Okay? Then low level of unemployment.
Okay.
These are the factors that really gives us the picture of a country beyond aid.
A country that is ready.
Exactly.
Beyond
so
aid.
if we say Ghana beyond aid, these are the indicators
that we need to consider.
That will make us a country beyond aid, where our national budget will no more be supported by donor countries.
Right.
Okay? So this is the picture of Ghana beyond aid. Now the question is it achievable? What role will leadership play? And for me, if leaders will have to do that, then the leader will have to, first of all, trumpet that vision that this is the kind of country we want to have. Create this mental picture, probably in the pictorial form, so that people will be able to have a mental picture of what has to be done. But the mental picture alone is not enough. It has to be now crafted, okay? And that is where you have the National Development Planning Commission would come in,
okay,
whereby they will have to be empowered to facilitate that process of the Ghana Beyond Aid.
Okay. So are we looking at, for example, billboards flying around every nook and cranny, so that at least when you see them, it reminds you that there is an agenda to take Ghana beyond aid? Should that be one of the things?
That should be one.
Adverts on television playing Ghana beyond aid, help, be part of it, support it. Should that be something that we
exactly. When we teach of vision implementation,
yeah,
one, you need slogans, you need symbols,
right,
you need pictures, you need these and stories that will reinforce your vision of what you want.
Okay.
You should be able to give people a complete mental picture to the extent that when you mention Ghana beyond it, they have an idea of what that country should be.
Right.
A country that believes in law and order, a country where institutions have been empowered and independent to drive, the economy.
Right.
So that is important. So yes, I believe in the billboards,
yeah,
the
television
production,
radio,
what have
adverts,
you.
newspaper.
But we should have a department that will become the engine to drive it.
Good.
But the key leader must be the president.
Okay.
Okay, because he has the vision. It is his heartbeat. He wants to translate that vision into reality.
Okay.
Fortunately for us, we have this National Planning Commission, Development Commission, that will have to now drive this.
Okay.
Okay.
So one thing, at what point should Ghanaians take out the politics in the mantra that one person is putting out? Because for me, I believe that regardless of what, it needs to come from one person.
Exactly.
As whether the person belongs to political party A, B, C, it will have to come from one person. At what point should Ghanaians come together and say that no, this mantra is not only coming out of the mouth of a representative of a political party, but out of a leader for the state?
What the president can do, because he came up with the vision, he will have to extend a hand of invitation to all walks of life, all groups of people, the various political parties.
Right.
And let them know that, listen, we are all fighting for one thing, a better Ghana, an improved Ghana.
Yeah.
And I don't think any political party will shoot down the concept of Ghana beyond aid.
No way. Okay?
Because that is our dream. That is why you want to get into power and be able to improve the lives of the people. So the president should be able to bring all political parties on board. Perhaps the NDPC would have to facilitate that.
Yes.
But then when you bring them on board, you will have to let them know, look, listen, we want to build a nation beyond aid. And therefore, we want all your input. What are the ideas you have? That are together, we can crystallize the whole concept.
Right.
You will not only just bring them, but you should also bring the university lecturers. I mean, the university authorities.
Some of them.
Some of them, not all.
Because the reason why I say some of them, I'm sorry to be interrupting, but the reason why I say some of them is that you study the trend in most of our universities and you realize that our lecturers are weak. They are not doing the right things.
That's true.
Some of them are modern day lecturers, but they are weak in implementation. They don't teach well. They think that your concepts should not override theirs, much as you've even gone to do some more research. So their style of teaching is even wrong.
Yeah.
Some believe that it is what I have taught you that you have to
Yeah.
regurgitate
Yeah.
and pour out to
Exactly.
me. So some of the
Yeah.
lecturers.
Yes. But you see, if you are the leader of the nation, you are the heartbeat. You are the heartbeat of the country.
Yes.
And so you will first of all have to bring all the political parties, bring all recognized professional bodies,
Okay.
meet them as groups, meet the TUC, meet the academia, meet the religious bodies, and tell them to give you representatives that will form a core group to be able to define and shape the concept of Ghana beyond aid. You see, my job as a leader is to give birth to the vision.
Right.
But then I will need people who will help me crystallize the vision, give that vision the legs and the wings to fly, the legs to walk on.
Right.
And you need these technocrats, those who will make the necessary input. So these are the group of people you need to bring on board because they make the economy grow.
Right.
So once you bring them on board, they will shape the idea. What people make contribute or make it happen, they will defend it and make sure it works well.
Right.
See, once people make a contribution to a dream, believe you me, they will ensure that dream will be sustained.
Okay.
So once you bring them on board, they will then drive it. Remember, a vision must be special. Sometimes people may ask that, is this achievable? Now, when you write the word special,
Yeah.
S, it must be specific.
Okay.
P, it must be people focused.
Okay.
E, it should empower people.
All right.
C, it should challenge the status quo.
All right.
I, it should be inspiring. A, it should be audacious.
Okay.
And L, long term.
Okay.
So Ghana Beyond Aid fit into what we define as the vision components.
Good.
Okay?
Good.
So once it's inspiring, it's audacious, it's challenging the status quo of being a dependent country. And now it must be long term. It cannot be achieved in one term of any political party.
Right.
But definitely between 25 years from now, with consistency, commitment, clarity, we can get there.
Okay.
Liu Kuan Yew moved his country in one generation, and a generation basically is between
10 years.
25 to 40 years. He moved his country in one generation from a developing country to a developed nation.
Right.
Okay, so that can be done. Once everybody makes contribution and they take the ownership, whichever political party come into office would be taking a segment of that dream.
Okay, so what is the kind of leadership that you would need to do this? Is it the democratic leader? Is it the dictator? For me, every democratic leader has like 98% of dictatorship in him.
Yeah.
The point is that I'll solicit your views, but then what I say, like you're saying, is my vision, is what we are carrying through. So I'm dictating the pace. What kind of a leader must we have? Should that be that brutal leader? Because Lee Kuan Yew, for example, he led for a very long time.
Yeah.
In Ghana, when it started, one-party state. So the same people, the same Ghanaians who were criticizing Kwame Nkrumah for trying to make a one-party state or living like that, we are praising Lee Kuan Yew for doing the same thing in another country and achieving the results.
Yeah.
So where do we stand? What kind of leadership do we need?
No, we need a benevolent dictatorship leadership. Okay, leadership that will be very firm, leadership that will empower people, leadership that will support a dream and making sure that things work well. So definitely, we don't need a laissez-faire leadership whereby just sitting down thinking, I have entrusted you with a job to do, and I hope that you are going to do that.
Thus far, what you've said means that the leader should be the core
He's the
person.
heartbeat.
Exactly.
He's the heartbeat.
So what kind of a person must he or she be?
One, he must be a courageous leadership. He must be a courageous leader. He must be daring. He must be able to take risk. He should be able to crack the whip. He should be able to define where we want to go and ensure that people are doing the job. Leadership must be very tough because if you are not, definitely people will not be able to achieve what you want to achieve.
Yes.
So definitely there must be some firmness and empower the institutions so that you don't interfere with the institutions that will drive your vision, into reality.
So it gets to a point where the spirit of dictatorship should take over you because without that you can't achieve.
Well, you can describe it as dictatorship, but once the person is very firm and he knows he's resolute that this is where we are going. But you see, you cannot just be resolute without getting the people on board.
Of course, you get the people on board. But
so, and there will be, you cannot also get almost everybody. There will be people who, for example, wouldn't believe in what you are doing.
Yes.
They will be the minority. You ignore them.
Should you kill them?
No.
Why can't you kill them?
No, because we live in a state of rule of law, you know, and therefore you can't do that. But you need to be able to convince. You will have a small fraction of people. We call them the Santobiah forces. You know, I picked that concept from the book of Nehemiah, where you have Sanballat and Tobiah who resisted the development of the nation of Israel under Nehemiah. So you will always have some Santobiah forces who will always say it is not possible. It cannot be done.
Yes.
Those people, you will ignore them. You
what
don't.
If they are making noise?
No, but your message will swallow their noise. Your message of you doing what you want to do, getting people. And you see, the moment people are beginning to see some results, it sends a message of conviction, hope that you are getting somewhere.
Okay.
So because leaders must always celebrate their small gains. So the moment you are achieving some results, make it well known, let people know it, celebrate it. It will give people confidence that at least we are not where we want to be, but at least we are making some level of progress, some form of progress. So you need a kind of a leader that will not think about himself, but a kind of a leader that will think about the next generation. You don't need a politician to really drive this. You need a statesman.
Okay.
The concept of a statesman is the one who thinks about the next generation. The politician thinks about the next election. So you don't need a politician who is thinking about the next election. You need the statesman who is thinking about the next generation.
Okay, so let's take something like the free SHS, for example, that the president is embarked on, or the government is embarked on. So that should be the strategy. Keep on keeping on regardless of the derailment that people are throwing at you. Keep on going at it because that is what you want to achieve.
Yeah, Patrice, you see, every vision comes with its own challenges. Every vision comes with the difficulties, and whilst you are working on it, you begin to solve some of the problems along the line. The fact that you are having difficulties doesn't mean that that vision is not doable or is not achievable. It is the natural course of implementation of visions. Sometimes, halfway the implementation process, if you are not very careful, people will come and tell you, let's back out. It is not possible. We can't sustain it. Your job as the leader is to whip up the enthusiasm and the energy level. The moment your energy level goes down, everybody will sink with you. So naturally,
you have to be resolute.
Exactly. Without that, you are not going anywhere. You should be convinced in your heart, this is what we are doing. So the free SHS is brilliant. It's a great idea. We have set the right tone. We need to now bring everybody on board. I still believe that as it is now, we cannot sustain it. Our economy definitely cannot sustain it. In my view, we can do targeting. Where we'll find out who can afford. And those who can't afford, we should start with them with the free SHS concept so that gradually we can roll it in because it's a question of sustainability, all right? But the concept is brilliant. You know, I mean, how would providing church cloth uniform, church cloth, including school uniform, everything for free.
That is unheard of.
No.
Okay, so those are some of the steps that you have to take. Now, along the line, who must a leader surround him or herself with just so that he doesn't wane? Who must he surround himself with?
A leader must first of all have people who are experts in other areas of their field. He must surround himself with think tanks. You know, a president or a leader just shouldn't have one advisor. He should have a team of advisors. We call them the think tank. See, your job, you are too busy having so many things running your mind. Get a group of people to do the thinking for you. And then, like once in a week, as a president or as a leader, you meet with them. They are doing the thinking for you, and then they share the ideas with you. And they try to understand, help you to understand what has to be done. You ask them the questions, they give you the ideas, and you drive. You know, one of the presidents of America said, look, I'm not the brightest president, I'm not the brightest individual in America. I'm not the best of individuals in America, but I've surrounded myself with the best of brains.
Right.
And I borrow the best of brains to run America.
Okay.
So a smart leader borrows the best of brains to provide leadership.
Okay.
And how far a leader goes depends upon who has surrounded the leader. So when you find a leader achieving great results, then you should know that there are great minds that have surrounded him. So that is the key. Once you have this think tank, they do the thinking for you, and you begin to buy their ideas and implement. So that is what leaders must do, whether political leadership, industrial leadership, religious leadership, academia. These are the things you need to do if you need to really improve your community and your society.
Okay.
So that is very important. So you also need a leader that can be very firm to chart the direction, that this is where I am taking the nation to. A leader that will call for attitudinal change.
Okay.
Because you know what? You cannot succeed if people's attitude are negative. It can be difficult. Can I even surprise you? Even the Lord Jesus Christ, the greatest leader we have on planet Earth, in his own hometown, for lack of better expression, Patrice, he failed. Bible said he couldn't perform any miracle. He did so well in Capernaum, Bethany, Galilee, and what have you. But in his own hometown, he failed because the people's attitude were negative. They didn't believe in him. So you may have a great idea, but if the attitude of the citizenry are so bad, it will be a Herculean task. So one of the starting point is to find a system where you will start dealing with attitudinal change.
Okay.
The change of
the failure aspect, we might have to deal with that one later because
okay.
God never fails. So we can say maybe the heart of the people was hardened, but I wouldn't say that he failed. That's a matter that we'll discuss later because God never fails.
Sure,
so that's it. So now the point is the people, the attitude needs to change. How do you whip them in line? How do you do that? How do you achieve that? So, for example, we're supposed to have had a railway test running from Tema all the way through to Accra to wherever it's supposed to go. We discovered that people have encroached on the facility.
The point is, our law enforcement agency must be up and doing some of the things they need to do. Okay, because one, if you have law enforcement, I don't need to tell a police officer that people must be arrested here. I don't need to tell a police officer that somebody has parked at the wrong side of the road and therefore effect some arrest. Once they are empowered enough and they know what they need to do, they will correct some of these wrongs.
Right.
But again, you must have a department for sociocultural transformation. Because again, that cannot happen instant. Nothing happens by accident.
Right.
Nothing happens by choice. Nothing happens by accident, but everything must take place by intentional drive.
Okay.
So you must have a department called perhaps Department of Sociocultural Transformation. The key people that can help drive it, Patrice, you can go to any village. You may not find a school in every village, in the remotest part of any camp. You may not find possibly a hospital in every village. But there are two institutions that you can find. A faith-based institution, a church or a mosque, or a religious leader. A traditional leader. These are the two institutions that you can get in every remotest part of the village.
Right.
They cannot be taken for granted. These are the people that can help drive attitudinal change.
Right.
Okay? The moment you bring them on board and you tell them, I need you, because you command a following, you influence a following, and attitudinal change must be influenced by leadership.
Right.
These are the people I would need. Bring them on board, give them a 7-year plan that by 7 years, this is the kind of attitude we will want to have. An attitude that believes in Ghana, an attitude that, that would project Ghana and be patriotic, an attitude that will not defecate around, an attitude that will not be late towards work. These are the things that you can then drive it.
Right.
Okay, so these are the institutions that you will need. If we ignore the traditional leaders and the faith-based religious leaders, believe you me, the vision we may have will be great, but its implementation will be very difficult and challenging.
Right. So one thing I also learned is that a vision must be written out. So like you're saying, the National Development Planning Commission should sit and come up with a certain plan or a strategy. How would everybody get to understand these things?
Wonderful. You see, they already have, I think before this government took over, they have just produced a 40-year development plan. Now, this 40-year development plan, basically, I believe, is nation beyond aid. Because if you look at the concept and the components of this 40-year development plan, naturally it's all about a country beyond it. How would people now buy into it? This is where you need academia. You need the TUC. You need these recognized bodies, AGI, what have you.
Churches and so on.
You now have to educate them that this is the kind of country we want. And believe you me, now what I'll probably do is maybe segment them into 10 various segments.
Right.
For example, education.
Okay.
I would then have to challenge all the vice chancellors, put them into a room and tell them that, look, a country beyond it. These are the areas we want to do. Now define programs and programs in your courses that will now speak to the industrialization.
Thank you.
A country that we want to build.
Thank you.
Develop programs now that in the next 10 years, the students that will churn out will be relevant to meet the advantage.
I just love this point you have made. That is what I've been clamoring for. That instead of allowing children to study 8 subjects, 9 subjects, 10 subjects, 15 subjects, give them 2.
Yeah.
Let them specialize in it for now. 2.
Yeah.
Until we achieve what we want to achieve, then the rest can follow.
Yeah. Education will play that key role.
Yes.
And so for the president, through Ministry of Education, you will chat them that I want you to redefine your programs now because things must be relevant. This is where we are going. Once that is done, now you realize that right from KG to university, we are working towards the concept and the vision achievement of Ghana Beyond Aid.
Right.
The second thing is about health. Now, what do we have to do? You need to have a vision that every regional center must have a teaching hospital. Okay, because if we are working towards Ghana Beyond Aid, every regional center must have a teaching hospital so that people wouldn't just go to only Komfo Anokye or Accra. But that should be one of the things that you can work towards.
That has to come with research department as well, because for health, medicine, research is very essential.
I agree. But you see, that's why you are working with a core group that is going to help you with the implementation.
Right.
Agriculture will become another segment where you have to look at. And then you will have to, how are we moving from mechanized farming to an industrialized farming? Okay, because we are an agricultural-based nation.
Yeah.
So this is what you will produce. And then you will charge the university lecturers, especially those in the agric sector. Now, define new programs that will make students, when they get out, they will desire to become farmers.
Right.
Okay, because we think that being a farmer belongs to the illiterates.
No.
You know, but you look at the developed world. I mean, some of those who command the economy are farmers.
Yes.
Okay, so these are the things that we will have to do. One time, Patrice, I heard a lecturer lamenting that the numbers of students being admitted into agric was literally going down. Virtually, his department will be closed down. And I said, that is a poor lecturer, poor leader. You go to the secondary schools and sell your vision why you think becoming an agric student is key for you. It's important. Okay, so that is what you will have to do. Then industrialization will become another area.
Yeah.
You will now put together AGI and all the TUC people and tell them, you know what, in the next 15 years, we want to become an industrialized nation. Every one of you, find a partner in the developed nation and let them partner with you so that identify every region, what kind of industry do we want to plant there? Now, for every district, the industry must be relevant to the resources of that district.
Right.
So that you wouldn't probably go and plant a tomato factory in Accra when we don't grow tomatoes in Accra.
Okay.
So you have to get tomato factory where we plant tomatoes. Okay? And so once you decide this industrialization, AGI and TUC will begin to take advantage. That I know in 10 years, when you get out of university, you know what, look, in 10 years, this is where we are going. Therefore, you can take advantage of the industrialization program.
Okay.
Remember, students are being now trained to be more relevant to the industry.
Right.
So you see, everything is digitally linked. It's like the human body. Every part is functioning well to ensure that the entire human body called Ghana Beyond Aid is functioning.
Bishop, one thing that I would like to draw your mind to has got to do with what we refer to as town and country planning. That aspect is very essential also in ensuring that because in doing this, we will need speed. we need discipline.
Yeah.
So the point is that we should know the margin of roads that we need, the gutters, should they be covered, where buildings are supposed to be, where industries are supposed to be situated. So residential areas are different from where schools are supposed to be, factories and so on and so are supposed to be. So people don't put illegal structures, kiosks and those kind of things in the way. People don't just get up and decide to sell just anywhere. So town and country planning should also play a very key role in this.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, we have a town and country planning, but our town and countries are not planned. Okay?
Yeah.
And so you ask yourself, what is the benefit of these students or probably graduates who come out with degrees that they have degrees in town and country planning? In overseas, people who have graduated in that department have really structured and improved their nation. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Okay? Others have succeeded already.
Oh, yeah, it's family. We're there. Be aware. So that's how it is.
So that is why it will take leadership to change that attitude.
Good.
Okay? Leadership that will punish, leadership that will crack the whip, leadership that can employ and fire. And you see, sometimes the concept of our ministry is that once you engage there, you can never be fired.
We
need to change that.
Thing. Yes.
We need to
I'm
change
surprised.
that. Because if we don't, we cannot run our economy well. That your people are not performing, people are not doing the right thing, and yet you can't touch anybody. We need to change that. We need to change that law.
Yeah.
You see, the lazy will always detest the hardworking person. You know, the non-achiever will always frown on the uncommon achiever. Right. So when people are not doing the right thing, they will always detest those who want to do the right thing. So you need that leadership to really bring that kind of change. Without that, you cannot just decide to do that. So for town and country planning, we need to have one or two key people and give them the mandate. This is what we want to do. Let us begin. I think there is a reformation of our land economy, land planning and what have you. But let's have the leadership to enforce that this is what we want to do. Why should people buy a property and then, you know, it's being sold to 2, 3, 4 people at the same time? It makes planning very difficult. Why do we leave our planning to chance? And you move to a new community and you are the first to be there, and then that community is not named after you, Patrice.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. So we should be able to restructure our system. But again, it will call for the Minister for Lands and Planning to ensure that this is what we want people to do. Everything must be intentional. Right. Otherwise, we cannot achieve what we want to do.
The role of the media and punishments thereof. So in places like Singapore, Indonesia, you can't just walk on the street and be chewing gum. When you flout the laws, they'll just pick you up, and they'll give you some lashes. They'll punish you. You do some community work and that kind of thing. How would we ensure that such punishments are enforced here, and the media doesn't go out saying, hey, there they go, lashing people in public, beating people, doing this in a civilized world? Why would we do that?
Well, we may probably not call for lashing people, but we'll call for punishment and enforcement.
Oh, well, if lashing is part, like we at Kaneshie, boss, the point is that it is being done by a country, and we go there and we say the place is neat. In Indonesia, we have flower pots by the road. Flower pot, come to my house and see the flower pot. It is deeper than the color green. So you ask me that if in Indonesia, by the roadside, they have flower pots neatly placed and all that, and their punishment, one of the punishments is that they will lash you.
Okay, well, that is true. I mean, but you see, we can still have a system where we will enforce the laws. Okay, and so in a case like this, you can empower. You see, you need to empower our security forces. You need to empower the law enforcement. Take politics out and ensure that we need to retool them, retrain them, re-engineering. I want a system where within a call of 10 minutes, when you are in distress, a police officer will be able to respond. Normally, I call up, I say they must represent a mini police station. You find a police officer, he has a short pistol, he has a baton, he has a handcuff, he has all the basic gadgets that he can effect arrest. Find a modern police officer today, and virtually he's working without any equipment. So people wouldn't be scared of him. And even when there is any trouble, he cannot effect any arrest. So equip them, resource them, because crime is now more complicated. Crime is more sophisticated. So they would need a lot of retooling, retraining, resources, and then take the politics out.
Okay.
Empower them, and then they can get things done. So when people are throwing refuse away, they are defecating or doing the wrong thing, they can effect arrest. Okay? Once they effect arrest, then they can prosecute the people. So it is also about empowering the institutions. You see, Patrice, the problem is take politics out of our institutions. It will take a leader who is thinking about Ghana and not the next election to get things done in that area.
Is it that easy to have a leader like that who's not thinking about the next election, thinking about next election?
It will take a leader who is thinking about leaving a legacy. Okay? A leader.
Do we have leaders in Ghana who are thinking like that?
Well, I think by and large, our president, Nana Akufo-Addo, I think he's doing some great work. First of all, he's giving us this vision of Ghana Beyond Aid. He's setting some agenda forward as to what he should do. He's setting some kind of, he's exercising some courageous leadership. I think he's doing something that needs the support of everybody. So yes, we have some leaders. And I think we can see the element of that leadership in our current president. Okay, why am I saying that? Because he's providing that kind of leadership that has given us this Ghana Beyond Aid, the vision of free SHS, the vision of one district, one dam, the vision of one constituency, $1 million US. Whether we are implementing that or not, at least they are laudable vision. When was the last time you ever saw a kind of a vision, an audacious vision like that, that at least people are working towards?
Okay.
It is important you give a society that vision. Then you will then need the drive of leaders and bring everybody on board
To push it off.
to get it done. So I think basically our president is providing that leadership. And of course, we need now to raise leaders.
Right.
That is also important. Leadership should be taught at the primary level, at the secondary level, to the tertiary, so that when you get out of the university, there is the leadership principles and skills in you.
Right.
Every profession needs leadership skills.
So okay. Nana has come out with all these fantastic ideas. The Planting for Food and Jobs worked to an extent efficiently because we're exporting food to Burkina Faso and La Côte d'Ivoire. There was bumper harvest when it comes to plantain and so on and so forth. So that means those things are working.
Yeah.
What about his lieutenant?
Take them through some training in leadership. Take them through some retreats. Every moment, perhaps once every 6 months, give them some refresher courses. Give them some targets, what you want to achieve, how you want to get things done. They should be able to tell you what they are producing.
Right.
If they are not, change them, because you have a target to achieve. So you empower them, and each one should drive that department because you have given them some target, or they should tell you what are they bringing on board. Okay, because every leader you engage must bring some value. Okay, value addition is very important if you want to really get things done. So that is what I believe the president should be able to do. Every now and then, make sure that they are giving you a report. What exactly, if you are the Minister of Transport or Minister for Health, tell me what you really want to do. Tell me your timelines. How well are you going to get these things done? And then I will ensure and hold you responsible for those implementation.
I think one of the first places got to do with the ports of or point of entry and exit. So the airport is key, the seaport is also key. The airport typically is where people travel. Most of the time air travel is more rife than the seaport. Now, doesn't it surprise you that all these people travel, they go to Dubai, go to Germany, go to Denmark, go to Switzerland and all these places. They go there, get out of the airport, see the environment is clean and everything. But ours, when those same people go and they come back into their own country, look at the welcome that they receive. The environment is not clean and there are hawkers all around. I mean, run the airport, there are hawkers there and there's heavy traffic over there. So my point is that all these years, what has happened to those we call leaders? There are hawkers just at the airport. The moment you get out of the airport, the first thing you see are hawkers. In fact, the first people you meet are those who change the money there, which is illegal, though, but then they are there. How do these leaders operate?
That is why the president will have to mandate his ministers. These are the problems. These are the things that will draw us backwards when we want to become a nation without aid. These are the things that we now want to stop and implement. I want you to ensure that these areas, these things are dealt with.
Yeah.
I'm giving you 1 year to really bring change in that sector.
Yeah.
If you can't produce result, you go. I bring somebody else who will do that. And then communicate that vision that now we want to remove everybody from the street. No hawking. We want to probably do A, B, and C. Communicate that vision. Okay, vision should not be kept to your chest.
Yeah.
It must be, vision starts with one person, but it ends with the people.
Okay.
So communicate, and let everybody know this is what you would expect from them.
Yeah.
And therefore, ministers are now going to drive this vision.
Bishop, the reason why I say so, sorry to interrupt, but the reason why I say so is that the first point of entry should tell you what the state is thinking about or what their vision is.
Yeah.
So if I enter a country and all I see is dirt, filth, hawkers and all that, it's too chaotic for my understanding. So even if I'm an investor, I'll be like, oh wow, what am I coming to do?
Yes.
So it is very essential that we clean up the entrance.
No, that is very essential. But you see, don't do it in isolation.
Yeah.
Look at all the sectors.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm saying you bring the Minister for Aviation, Minister for Sanitation, Minister, all these ministers, give them 1 year. These are key indicators, things that we want to see implemented.
Yeah.
Everybody on your mask, get set, go.
Away, we're going.
Then that's the thing. And so by 1 year or 6 months, we will come to give a report. How far have we been able to achieve A, B, and C?
Okay.
Together, we are now running a common race.
Okay.
You have communicated every now and then that you are trumpeting.
Yeah.
You will also bring the media. Help the media to understand the vision and the direction of the various sectors.
Right.
And get the media to get on board so that they can also help educate the society that this is where we are all going. We can't, you see, media is the fourth estate of the realm. We cannot get things done without them. So once you also bring them on board, then they will be educating, whilst together others are doing the implementation.
Yeah.
So when somebody says, Ajay, you know, I'm in trouble, they've kicked me out, they've destroyed my kiosk, what have you? Nobody would sympathize with them.
Okay.
Because already that kiosk is an illegal structure there. Okay, so once it is removed and you are prosecuted, nobody will go to see somebody, no, let us temper this with justice and give it a human face. There is no human face in this when you are putting up illegal structures.
Yes.
So these are the things that has to be done. It must be tough. We need tough leadership to drive every sector of the economy.
Is it very easy for a leader to deal with his own cronies? So they are engaging acts of embezzlement and all those kind of things. People are selling by the roadside. You go to Circle right now, you see people hawking. You go to Accra Mall, people are ambushing those who are paying heavily. They are paying heavy rent, high rent in them. People are ambushing at the tip and they are being allowed to sell and they are hawking. And you tell the authorities and they tell you that if you touch them, you might lose the next election.
I think that when people see tough leadership at play, the first 2 years they may be crying, they may be going through some pain. But when people see evidence and results, believe you me,
Bishop,
they
God
will
bless you.
buy into your leadership. They will put you in the nest, they will vote for you again. Because we all want a decent society. We want an organized society. We want a civil society. So in the first 2, 3 years, that may be tough, but drive it. Achieve some results. Nobody would fight good results. Nobody will contest with good results. Once they see it, people would say this is the kind of country we want. So definitely people will come on board. But from beginning, it will be tough. But you see, that is what leaders sometimes can be misunderstood. The price of leadership is one of being misunderstood in some of the things you want to do. But you should be daring and to say that we are going there and we can achieve that.
Okay. So I want to ask this. It's quite controversial and it's something that I've been standing by. I say it most of the time, but people think that maybe I'm just making it up. Sorry, I have some code. In the Bible, which I believe you believe in, God will instruct, kill their people, kill every cattle, kill everything. go after them, do this, do that, make this. So killing was part of it. Is it possible that detractors can be killed or eliminated? I hear that when I hear so, I don't know, I haven't read it, but I hear that when the United States was being put together, that was what they went. They come to this day, they ask those who want to be part of it, go on the right. Those who are against, go left. Those who have made up your mind, stay in the middle. After everybody's gone to their groups, those who say no, they kill them. Those who have made up their mind, they kill them. Then they move to the next state. Until such that people heard that, hey, this is what is happening. Everybody, do you want United States of America? I say yes. Then they all come to one side. That is what it is. So people were killed. They were eliminated. Should you seek the face of God to do that to the detractors so that your path is smooth as a leader?
You see, it worked at that time. But for now, the era we live in, democracy, respect for human rights, what have you, we cannot go that direction. But what can help us is the institutions. Why is it, Patrice, that you go to London, you go to UK, you can't stand on the street and wee-wee? Because you would be arrested and punished. But how come when you get here, you can easily do it? Because human beings have been empowered to ensure that they are punishing people, arresting people, and making sure that the laws are working.
Bishop Mensah, I think we need to do a part 2 of this. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best. I'm sure a lot of you would have learned a lot with regards to where we are going. The mantra is Ghana Beyond Aid. What part are you going to play? What role are you going to play as a leader? Even if it is in your home, you're a leader. Your workplace, you're a leader. If you're a supervisor, you're a leader. What role are you playing to ensure that Ghana goes beyond aid? Thanks so much. Coming up is Councillor Lutrot with Rosalind Fairley. They are looking at the act of forgiveness. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Breakfast Live. We'll be right back.